No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hola, gin lovers! Welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman. As you can probably tell by the use of one of the few Spanish words I know in that opening sentence, today we have a Spanish gin for you. I've been neglecting my friends in España, oh, there's another word, for far too long, and quite a few people have been recommending this one, so I have brought it for you. You have asketh, and I have giveth. I think that's right. Anyway, let me introduce you to it. It is Larios Gin, and I have good news because we have broken a record with this one. This, my friends, is the cheapest gin we have ever had on the show. I think the most expensive one was that one made with ants from the Cambridge distillery, which is over £200. But this one, I'm not going to tell you how much it is yet, but I can guarantee it was remarkably cheap and definitely by a country mile the cheapest gin we've had on the show. So I'm very much looking forward to getting stuck into it for you today. However, before we do, a couple of things. First of all, no new patrons today, but good old Danny Conan, who was one of my sort of basic level patrons, has become, he's raised himself, he's attained the dizzying heights of my top level patrons. He's upped his contribution by $3 a month, and he gets another mention on the show, his name on the credits of the show, and a little personalized video for me. What more could you possibly want? So Danny, my friend, you are a gentleman, you are an official top level supporter of the show, and I salute you. And secondly, and more importantly, and actually rather annoyingly, we have an intruder in the show today. A fly got in before I shut the door, and try as I might, he is refusing to vacate the premises, and he has the loudest engine you've ever heard. So I'm hoping it's not going to be picked up on the mic. However, if it does cause a problem and we do spot him, I have armed myself with my trusty fly swatter. So there may be murder on the show today. It might be a bit like that episode from Breaking Bad when he gets to fly in the laboratory, only hopefully not as boring. Yeah, I know people didn't like the fly episode, but what you have to understand is the fly is actually a powerful visual metaphor. No one cares, Vince. Nobody cares. It was boring. Get rid of it and get on with the show. Right then, enough fanning around. Let's find out what they say about it on the website, shall we? Unfortunately, they don't actually seem to have a website, unless I'm really stupid and really blind, and which is, both are possible. I can't find the damn thing, so I just found a little bit of literature about literature. Literature? Yes, that is the right word. And I'm going to read it for you today. Unfortunately, I just can't do a Spanish accent. I'm just not very good at it, so I'm just going to have to do it in my normal, lovely British tones. Larios is the #1 gin in Spain and continental Europe, and one of the top 10 best-selling gins internationally. Damn it. The Larios family moved to Malaga at the beginning of the 19th century and were involved in cane processing before they developed into distillation in 1863. They acquired Jimenez and Lamothe winemakers and brandy distillers in 1916, and in 1932 the third Marquis of Larios. Oh, that's a good name, isn't it? Why can't I be called the third Marquis of Larios? Oh, good evening, Bobby Freeman here, third Marquis of Larios. I'd like to book a table, please. And his name was Jose Aurelio Larios, and he launched Larios Gin. Well, my friends, that sounds damn good to me. I think that's all we need to hear about it. So I think it's safe to say we're not going to have high expectations for this. It's going to be a contender for probably, for me, it's going to be looking at contending against the Gordons at that sort of price, probably Beefeater as well, but you know, I think that might be high hope. So I'm looking for something that kind of, it's not going to knock my socks off. My socks aren't going anywhere. They're staying firmly firmly in place. I don't know why that made me choke to death. So what I'm saying is basically we're going to bring that rather high bar that which we usually have on this show down a little bit. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's going to be absolutely amazing as well. Who knows? But one thing I do know is I'm gabbling on again, so let's get on with it. Ooh, you swine. So then, let's get the top off. No cork on this, because I think that's probably one of the reasons it's kept at a low price level. So let's have a little sniff at the world's, well, what I believe to be at the moment, the world's cheapest gin. So here we go. Not too bad. And to be honest, I think not too bad is going to be a phrase we'll be employing a lot during this video, because I think that's the best we can hope for. And if we hit it, then fine. At that price, I'm not too worried. It's kind of quite heavy on the citrus, little tiny tickle of juniper at the bottom, but I'm getting kind of a sort of a big orangey sort of spinny thing. A little twizzle, a twizzle I would describe it as. That's a perfect adjective. If you don't know what it is, look it up. I doubt it's in many dictionaries, but who knows. But a tiny twizzle of orange with the kind of, what I would call, this sounds like a lazy answer, but your standard gin flavours, you know, your orris, your coriander, all this sort of, and the juniper in there as well, what you kind of expect to smell of a gin. Which, to be honest, is a great start, really, because for something that cheap, you'd expect it to smell absolutely foul, so it doesn't. So it's passed the first test straight away. However, oh, a lovely hiss there from my bottle of tonic. Let's marry it up, because this, I think, really, if it's going to be sort of a cheap, well, the cheapest gin in the world, the very least it could do is make a good gin and tonic. So, my friends, here we go. Larios Gin. I don't know why I pronounced it like that. Larios, I was trying to roll the R in the middle but failed. Larios Gin, the cheapest gin I have ever had on my humble little channel here in southeast London. I say to you, cheers. Oh, okay. Do you know what? As I thought, it's not too bad. It's kind of what I would call bog standard gin. Gin by numbers, gin without any frills whatsoever. It's literally just that gin taste, sort of a nice bit of juniper, very similar to the aroma actually, kind of nice little floating bit of citrus in there as well, backed up by all the sort of the nice gin flavours, and it's not, well, like I said, literally not too bad. Oh, damn you. There's a nice kind of sort of, it's almost like an orangey, when sometimes you get an orangey and a tiny tickle of lemon in there as well. I always like a bit of orange and lemon together. They kind of meld quite nicely, but I would say, if anything, to like it. What's the ABV of it, first of all? It's quite not that strong, I don't think. 37.5, which is actually, as we know, very weak for a gin, but that's how they keep the price down, because obviously the more the ABV, the more duty they have to pay. I don't know if it's the same in Europe, but generally the more the ABV, the more they have to pay for it, the more we have to pay for it. But to be honest, yes, it does taste it packs a little bit less of a punch than perhaps, 42%, which we'd usually expect from London Dries, but it doesn't taste particularly weak either, which is actually quite weird. If anything, I would say it's kind of, well, first of all, let's get one thing straight out there. It's definitely better than Gordon's. It's not a country mile better, which I don't know if you're familiar with that phrase, that might be just a British one. It's not loads better, but definitely taken a step towards, dare I say it, Beefeater? That's quite a good way to describe it, actually. I'd say it's kind of, you can tell I'm suppressing a burpee. I'm going to have to do it off camera. Hang on a second. And there we go. But yeah, I reckon that's the best way to describe it. It's kind of a halfway house between these two little fellows. It's better than this, not quite as good as this. Oh, that was a long shot. You can never get them in mid-flight, can you? However, let's give it a little go neat, shall we? So here we go. Yeah, yeah. As you know, I'm not a big fan of neat gins per se, unless they're kind of fruity and sort of got a bit of sweetness to it. So yeah, as in the same way I don't enjoy, like in most standard gins, I don't enjoy Tanqueray, that's not Tanqueray, that's Beefeater. I don't enjoy Beefeater, Tanqueray, any of these lot neat, maybe the Aviation, but to be honest, that's kind of what I expected. However, if you want a little gin and tonic and you haven't got much money, that you could go a lot worse. So then, my friends, let's get to the bit that I've been alluding to throughout the whole video, because as I've said, it is the cheapest gin on the show. Now then, I've got two lots of price here, because what I paid for it was £21, okay, here in the UK, which works out at about €29.24. However, turns out old Freeman here was ripped off. I should have shopped around a little bit more, because after I bought it, I did a bit of shopping around. You can get this for as little as £9. £9 for a whole full-size bottle like that, which works out at $12. And I've seen it on European websites for €10. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I imagine if you shopped around, you could possibly even get it cheaper. And that is just by far and away the cheapest gin. But Beefeater, to give you an idea, over here in the UK is around about the £16 mark. So and to be honest, yeah, you're getting a slightly worse gin, but for that price, you can't really complain about anything. So guys, to sum up, this is an interesting one today, because as I said, I've had to kind of reset and sort of rearrange and adjust my parameters, because I wasn't expecting an amazing gin. If I'd paid like £30 for that, I'd be disappointed, right? That's not fair, because there's lots of amazing gins out there that are way, way better for that price. However, for that minute price, you would expect something to be absolutely awful, using really cheap and sort of badly sourced ingredients and botanicals, but it's not. As I say, look, let's be honest, it's not the best gin in the world. It's not going to blow your socks off, as I said before. And it's certainly not to the point, to the level of the Beefeater. However, it is way better, or I'd say certainly substantially better than Gordon's, which for me makes me wonder what on earth Gordon's is doing here, because we know, Gordon's is very, very cheap, but why? Why do I not see this more in the supermarkets and on the bars here in the UK? Because I think, if you want my opinion, for what it's worth, Mr. Larios, third Marquis of Larios, seriously, push this stuff. Well, apparently it's already been pushed anyway because it's available worldwide, but push it over here in the UK. Nudge old Mr. Gordon's out, because I think you could very safely take his spot in the market. So guys, I hope you found this video useful today. Get out there and try a bit of Larios if you haven't before, because I tell you, I've been through points in my life when I'm a bit skint, and I tell you what, I wish I'd known about Larios, because that would have helped me out big time. So if you found this useful, think you might go out and try a bit of Larios and you like it, don't forget, if you haven't, to subscribe to my channel, press the little like button on this video, also press the bell icon so you get the notification when my new videos come out. And if you want to support the show like good old Danny Conan did, head over to my Patreon page as well, or press the old join button below the video. But until next time guys, you know the drill. Take care, stay safe, thank you to all my patrons and members, and keep drinking a gin, as they say in Spain. Oh, for God's sake.